Hey guys, welcome back to GWiz Academy. In this video, we are going to talk about variables. What is variables and how to use variables? That is what we are going to see in this video, right? Okay. See, no matter what programming language you will be learning in future, right now we are learning Python. No matter what language you will be learning in future after Python as well, even if you are trying to learn PHP or Java or JavaScript or some random programming language, in each and every programming language, you will come across this word called as variable. So what exactly is this variable and why do we use variable? That is what you need to understand. And once you understand what exactly is this variable, and then you need to understand what is the syntax of using variable in that particular programming language. No matter what is the syntax, basic functionality of a variable is same no matter what programming language you learn. Okay, all right. So what is variable? Variable is nothing but it's a container in the sense, let's just try to visualize a plastic bucket or something, or a plastic box or something, which holds, if you are considering a plastic bucket, then you hold water in it. We can keep water in it, or we can store bricks in it, or we can store sand in it, or we can store books in it, whatever it is, just a container which holds some material in it, right? So in that way, here that particular bucket is nothing but variable. So what variable does in a program is it carries a material from one place to another place, or by using that particular bucket we can manipulate the material or add some other material. In programming language, variable is a small memory container which holds the data. Same way, how a bucket is holding water, same way here the bucket can be considered as variable and water can be considered as a data. So variable is nothing but a container that holds the data. If you just visualize a bucket of water, bucket is nothing but a container, or we can call it as a variable that is holding water, called as data, right? It's the simplest definition that I can give you. And now you can say that a bucket can hold water, but also a bucket can hold sand, or we can keep bags or books or whatever it is. A bucket can hold multiple types of data. So that is what is called as data types. There are 8 different types of data which we call as data types in Python, that we will look into that later on. But right now you can understand that how we can go ahead and create this variable. So first thing that we need to understand is how to create variable in Python. So let's assume, let's create a variable called as name. Okay, it's as simple as that. The variable name is created as soon as you assign some value in it. What is my name? Rakesh. So I'll assign a data. So here this is a bucket, and let's assume this is water. Okay, water in the sense this is a data that is inside a variable called as name. This is a bucket and this is water. Same way we can create a variable called as bucket, inside which we are having a data called as water. So, and you can ask me, you can say that a bucket can hold different types of data as well, right now here, as you can see, this data is nothing but a string in the sense it's a word, alphabetical word, right? So same way variable can hold numbers as well. See, let me create a variable called as age. This variable will hold a number, not the word exactly. It will hold a number called as 29. So my age is 29, so age is 29. So what we did here, we created 3 variables and we assigned a value to it. So inside name we have Rakesh, inside bucket we have water, inside age we have number called as 29. Here we can have let's say decimal numbers as well. Let's say a variable called as DEC, decimal, that represents decimal, or whatever name you can call, you can assign for a variable. And then let's say 10.3435 or something, right? So right now what we did is we created 4 variables and we assigned values. As you can see, whenever we assign values that are in alphabetical order, or say words or sentence, we need to use this double quotation mark. Okay, inside the double quotation we need to add that particular word or sentence whenever we use. But whenever we use numbers or decimal, we don't have to use any double quotation. This is a simple syntax in Python. So now what we have learned how to create and assign values to our variables. That's it. Now coming to the second concept. Let's say if I say you that we have created a variable and I have assigned a value, but is there a way to analyze it? Is there a way to print it out? Let's say if someone asks me, or if someone asks me that hey, you just said that you added this particular water inside bucket, so can I just verify whether actually this variable called as bucket is holding this particular data called as water? Or let's say if someone asks me that you just said that this data called as 29 is inside the variable called as age, so can we just check whether exactly age variable contains this particular data? Obviously we can check. What we can do is we can simply print out age, print the output of age, and see in output we get 29 or not. Same way we can print name and see whether we get an output of Rakesh or not. Let's say, what is the printing syntax? The syntax is simple. Just type print and use parenthesis, start parenthesis, close parenthesis. It's as simple as that. And now inside this, what we need to write, we simply name this variable. We can simply write the name of this particular variable name. That's it. What is this name? This is nothing but this text from here, right? So let's save it and run this command. As you can see, our output is Rakesh. I just printed this one, print name. It is, our program is printing Rakesh here. In the sense, Rakesh is inside this variable called as name. Same way, if I print decimal, what should come? The value of decimal should be printed. Run the program. See, 10.35. Same way, if I print let's say age, what should be printed? 29 should be printed, right? So 29, this is the output. So basically the thing is, variable is storing this particular data inside it. That is what variable is meant for. By using this method, we can use this particular variable in various process or various logics or functions that we will go on, that we will dive deep into in our later lectures. But for now, we need to understand that variable is nothing but a container or a storage block that holds certain data inside it. The data can be of different types. The different data types, we will look into it in our later videos, but for now you can simply understand we can store name, we can store words or sentence or numbers or decimals. That's it. Or any particular expression, we can save it in a variable. That is what is called as variable, and we can simply call that particular variable with its name and print it out by using this print function. And what is function? Don't worry, we will see that in later videos. Okay. Now, the third concept that you need to understand is identify the data type and print it. First thing is we need to identify the data type. Here, as you can see, we are using word. It's an English word. My name is printed in RAKESS, so it is a word that we call as string. If it is a alphanumeric, whatever it is, then alphanumeric, we call it as a string. Whenever we use alphabets or mix of alphabets and numbers, then we call it as a string. Okay, so if the data is just numbers, then we call it as integer. If it is having some decimal value, then we call it as float data type. These are the three types of data types right now. More data types we will see in our later videos, but for now these are the three data types. First is, if we are using word or English word or sentence, then we consider it as a string, and if it is a pure number, then we call it as an integer, and if we have let's say any decimal value, then we call it as float. But this is just I am telling you verbally, right? So how will what if I want to check it uh, through code? We can do that as well by using a function called as type. This type function will check what is the data type of a particular variable. How to use this particular function? Simply we use this type function and enter the particular variable name that we want to check its data type. So let's say I want to check the data type of particular age. So I'll type age. Now save it, save this, and let's go and run this code, and let's see, nothing has been printed because it is checking. The code is obviously checking whether what is the data type of this particular variable, but it is not getting printed out. So to print, what is the function that we need to use? Print parenthesis, right? Start and close parenthesis. And here if you see, I need to copy this entire thing and paste it inside this. Now if I save and run this code, you will find this output called as class integer. Int represents integer. Okay, the same thing what I'll do, I'll try to analyze what is the data type of other variable. Let's say we'll use test what is the data type of this variable called as bucket. And save it. Okay, now run the code. Okay, so this shows that it is string. So this way we can ask Python what is, hey, what is the data type of a particular variable. If this is your exercise, or if someone asks you test which is what is the data type of this particular variable, then we can simply use this type function and print function to print that output. We can use type function to analyze what is the data type, and we can use print function to print out that particular result on our output, in our output. Okay, same way if I print let's say age, or let's say decimal, dec, we should get what? Float. We should get the output called as float, right? So here what is happening is we are using type function inside print function. Why do we use type function? Type function will help in analyzing what is the data type, and it will analyze, but it will not print in our output. So to print it inside our output, what we will do, we'll use a function called as print. I guess this concept is also clear. Okay, so coming to next concept, typecasting. What is typecasting? Here we can do something interesting with the variable which holds number in it. Number in the sense integer in it. Let's say age is 29. Now if I say print parenthesis type of, what is the type of age here? So it should be integer, right? Integer, obviously. But observe it here. If I type age equals to str, string, and use parenthesis and add this data called as 29. Now if I save it, and I can use the same code again to check what is the data type now. The data type of this particular age is now changed to string. So let's verify it. Run this code, you will get string. In the sense, as soon as I use this function called as str and parenthesis, it is converting the integer into string. Same way we can convert, let's say age equals to, let's assign float, and then type this number 29. Now what is it doing is it is changing integer data type to float data type. So if I use the same code and paste it here, it will give the age is now float data type. See, float data type. So this is extremely useful functions we call it as constructor function. You don't have to worry what is function and what is constructor function. Those things we will see in our later videos, but for now just understand that we can change the data type as well. How our Python code is interpreting here. As you can see, our code directly interprets it as a number, but here we are specifically telling Python that, hey, don't consider this as a number, consider this as a string. Here we are telling Python, hey, don't consider this as a number, consider this as a float. As soon as we specifically type it by using this construct function, the Python will obviously consider this as a float or consider this as a string, right? This is how we can change one data type to another data type, and this is what this concept is called as typecasting or casting or type conversions. Okay, so I hope this concept is also clear under variables. Now let's go to the next concept. What is the next concept? Assigning multiple values to multiple variables in a single line. Let's say these are the multiple variables. Okay, so as you can see, I took 4 lines of code. I utilized 4 lines to create 4 variables and assign them 4 values, right? So what I can do is, let's say I can use just single line. I can create all these 4 variables and assign values to it. How to do that? I'll tell you. So what you need to do, just use comma separated bucket, comma separated age, comma separated decimal. Okay, now here as well you separate it with comma and add water and add 29 and add 10.35. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now what will happen? Name will catch this Rakesh, bucket will catch this water, age will catch this 29, and decimal will catch this 10.35. This is how you can create, or let's say if you still doubt it whether this is true or not, just verify. Let's verify. Let's comment it out, these values, or let it be. Let's scroll down here. Rakesh 2, water 2, 29 2, 10.354. Let's use like this. Okay, just we change the value so that you are it is clear that these are not coinciding with these values. Okay, so I have created 4 variables and I have assigned 4 data to these variables. Now let's verify. Now I'll just print, let's say I simply want to print the value of age in the output. Let me save it and now go ahead and run. If I run the program, I can see the output as 292. In the sense, age has catched this value 294. In the sense, 294 data is inside age. So same way, if I say print bucket, if I say print bucket, it should show me water 2. Water 2. Okay, I'm sorry. Print bucket. Okay. If I print this bucket, let me see the output. Run the command. Water 2, right? So I hope this is clear. So this way we don't have to use multiple lines to create multiple variables. We can simply use a single line to create multiple variables. And don't try to use 4 variables here and 3 values here. It will show you an error, because variables are only created as soon as you assign some data. If you keep it empty, it won't be created, or empty variable will return false, right? So it is prone to errors. All right, so this concept is clear. Now let's go ahead and learn the last concept. That is nothing but printing out multiple values using single print function. As you can see here, if I can go ahead and try to print, let's say name, and see what is the output. The output is, as you can see, Rakesh 2. Okay, fine. So now in this next concept is, in earlier concept I have used 3 lines to print the output. Okay, 3 lines, and I have repeated the same function, print, 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 again and again. So why not use print function just once? And if you want to print all these three, just use the name of those variables, age space bucket space name. Simple. You don't have to use multiple lines to print multiple data. So what I can do is, let me see if this does the job. Let me save it, and let's run the code. What does it do? 292, water 2, and Rakesh 2. This is printing multiple data in a single line by using single print method. The same thing you can do by using one more option, print age plus bucket plus name. You can do like this as well. This is called as concatenation. Okay, so you can do this as well if you run the code, but the issue is here, you cannot use two different types of data. In the sense, age is integer and the bucket and name is string, so you cannot use concatenation for different data types. So in case if you want to change the if you want to use this plus symbol, then what you need to do, you need to use it inside. You need to first change the data type of this age by using this method, where converted it into different we try to convert it into different data type, and then we can use this plus symbol and print out all the data. Anyways, we'll look into this in our future videos, so don't worry about it. But all you need to do is, all you need to understand here is, we can use single print function to print multiple values. We don't have to use multiple print function again and again, right? So this concept is also clear. So we have learned our basic concepts in variable. This is a first video, right? So I'll try to keep it short and brief as well. We will anyways be working with variables continuously in our future videos, so you'll get a complete understanding of what exactly it is and how, what are the different ways that we can go ahead and use it. Now there are some naming syntax whenever you are creating. As you can see, I created these names randomly, right? So but there are some rules that you need to follow to create variables as well. You should not be creating variables name starting with numbers. You cannot create a variable with starting number, right? This is a rule, this is a syntax, else Python will throw an error. You cannot use a special characters as well in the beginning, or just underscore is allowed, but again, I strongly recommend not to use it. And special characters also are not allowed. And variables are case sensitive, as you can see, small lowercase Rakesh and camel case Rakesh is considered as a different variable, so it's a case sensitive. So make sure you write these variable names carefully, because it is case sensitive. So this is pretty much it that you need to understand about variable. And here, don't worry if you didn't understand how to use this print function, or how to use this type function, or how we converted this to different data types. What is data types, what is function, what is concatenation, uh, these are all the terms that you will be keeping on hearing from now onwards. Don't get overwhelmed, it is extremely easy concept to understand. But yeah, I can understand that if you're watching this video for the first time, or if this is the first programming language that you're learning in your life, then this can be slightly overwhelming. Try to watch this video again and again, once or twice. Okay, so, and don't don't try to memorize these things at all. You don't have to memorize anything. I'll make sure these concepts get imbibed into your head. Okay, don't try to memorize anything. If you get any question or if you get any doubt, please let me know in the Q&A section. And also make sure that you practice the video. Whatever I am doing in a video, just make sure that you do the same thing practically, not just watching the video. You should do it practically in your Visual Studio Code, and make sure that you get a hang of these concepts practically along with watching these videos, right? So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video with one more concept on Python programming language.